Theodore Roosevelt and the Panama Canal. In 1901, the assassination of William McKinley thrust Vice President Theodore Roosevelt into the role of president of an emerging power. Roosevelt, unwilling to allow European nations to dominate international political and economic affairs, was determined to make the United States an even more powerful force on the world stage. In 1905, building on the achievements of the Open Door Notes, Roosevelt managed to mediate a peace negotiation between Japan and Russia. The two nations had been fighting for control of possessions in Manchuria and Korea, and the successful negotiations won Roosevelt the 1906 Nobel Peace Prize. As Roosevelt's presidency continued on, America's role in international affairs continued to grow. France, Great Britain, and the United States had all envisioned a world in which a canal could provide a shortcut between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. As early as 1850, Great Britain and the United States had agreed to share operating rights of such a canal if it could be built. However, in 1901, Britain granted exclusive rights to such a canal to the United States. In the late 1800s, France had attempted to build a canal in Panama, but their efforts had failed. In 1903, President Roosevelt and Congress purchased the rights to this Panama route for $40 million. Roosevelt saw the completion of a canal in Panama as a military and economic necessity for the United States, and he was determined to make it happen. Panama, at that time, was controlled by neighboring Colombia. When negotiations with Colombia to build the canal failed, Roosevelt worked closely with French officials to orchestrate a revolution in Panama. When the fight for Panamanian independence broke out, Roosevelt sent Marines and nearly a dozen warships to Panama to secure control of the territory in the Isthmus of Panama. 15 days later, the Hay-Buena Viria Treaty was signed with Panama, granting the U.S. control of the Canal Zone area. The U.S. agreed to pay Panama $10 million, plus an annual rent of $250,000 for control of the area. Construction of the canal began in 1904, and the completion of the project remains one of the world's greatest engineering feats. More than 43,400 workers battled diseases such as malaria and yellow fever, unfavorable terrain, hot, humid weather, and torrential rainfall. Work was not completed until 1913, and some 5,600 workers lost their lives due to accidents and disease. The total cost for building the canal was $380 million. The canal opened on August 15, 1914, and more than 1,000 ships passed through during the first year of operation. However, U.S. efforts in helping to stir up the rebellion in Panama, along with the aggressive naval actions in the area, greatly damaged America's image in Latin America. Resentment of the United States would simmer in the region for decades to come.